Morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hey, it is Monday morning. It is February the 6th. What? Yeah, we're already to the 6th of February. What is happening? Before you know it, we're going to have to pretend we like each other and get Valentine's. It is Monday morning. Good morning to you. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Hopefully, get your day started off right. Oh my gosh. Pause. All right, that's a little better. I'm struggling this morning. So is Mother Nature. Look outside. This is our tower cam shot up in Ocala. It's a little foggy. Mother Nature's like, it's a Monday. I don't really want to bring the sun out just yet. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other spots that are seeing the sun. So we do have a little bit of fog to deal with this morning. I hope you're having a great start to the day. Top two things we're watching, a great stretch of weather. We've got sunshine on our shoulder today, making us happy. We'll talk about how long the sun sticks around and the next polar plunge in Central Florida, how low the temperatures get, and all that jazz. But first, we had some rain yesterday. I was looking at Futurecast yesterday morning on Coffee Talk, and I was like, I don't know. Futurecast really wants to keep the rain at the coast. And I said, I think Futurecast's wrong on this one. Well, where did the rain stay yesterday? Along the coast. Futurecast. Ding! Burris. Oh well. What are you going to do? Live first warning Doppler radar now is rain-free. Boy, Futurecast nailed it yesterday. Nothing more frustrating than having a computer smarter than you. We all know they are. But what's going to happen when artificial intelligence gets to the point where it takes over for us and Skynet becomes self-aware? What happens when Skynet becomes self-aware? All right, temperatures out the door. Looking good, nice and cool. 57 in Orlando. It's 55 degrees in Leesburg, 51 for us in the Villages, and 48 degrees in Ocala. So it is a nice start to the day. We look to the 12-hour forecast. It's a great day. It is a great, great day. 68 our 11 o'clock temperature, 72 1 p.m., 74 degrees by 3 p.m. Mid-70s for a high today. That looks outstanding. Nice light breeze out of the north running about 5-10 miles an hour. Yeah, this is good weather. Neighborhood by neighborhood, by the way. Average is 74. We're going to do 74 today. Notice north and west of town, maybe a little bit warmer, 75 degrees. Whereas right at the beaches, it's going to be a little chilly over there, right? Upper 60s, lower 70s. That breeze in its positioning just enough to keep us a little chilly. I'm doing long. It's funny. I had short sleeves on earlier. I'm going straight long sleeves, like buttoning them up. It's chilly. I don't know. I'm cold today, so we're doing long sleeves. Brian says computers are only as smart as the person who puts the data information in it. But what happened? I mean, artificial intelligence, AI, is terrifying. What happens when it recognizes that it's smarter than we are? And it doesn't need us anymore. I don't know. Am I just crazy? I mean, I know I'm crazy, but am I crazy? I don't work a ton with it, but I know about it. Okay. All right. So the forecast looking great. Allergy sufferers. Am I the only one? Am I the only one dying over here? Because we didn't get a ton of rain moving through, we were not able to drop down our allergens. So here we are, still running high for today, running high tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know which of those allergens just kicks me right in the head, but here we are. I need to take some Tylenol. Yeah. Kenneth says I've watched too many movies. I mean, yes, but also, you've heard the term stranger than fiction? I don't know. All right, so let's talk about things, shall we? Nice, comfy air in place. As that area of high pressure starts to shift, we're going to turn our winds. It's going to help to bring up those temperatures next couple of days. Warmer, warmer, warmer. Then looking ahead to our Thursday, Friday, there is our next frontal boundary. That frontal boundary will be bringing us just a little bit of rain. It's not going to be a bad day at all, but, it's going to be bringing us some rainfall. In the meantime, here we are today, oh so much better than yesterday. Temperatures right where they should be. Any opportunity to put an Adirondack on a graphic, we should do, right? Yesterday, had to scrub the Falcon 9 rocket launch because of weather. It was cute that they thought it would clear out in time. Here we are looking better. Now, can I just say something? This is a broader discussion. I don't know why the good folks over at the Weather Squadron down there, Space Launch Delta 45. I don't know why we decided we're going to use 5 percentile increments instead of 10% increments, but I don't like saying 95% probability of good weather. 90% chance of good weather is fine. I don't know why we went to 5 percentages. I just don't understand that. Yeah, you get double the range, but at any rate, here we are. Looks like a much better forecast today than yesterday. 5:32 is that launch window. A couple of clouds around. The bigger concern today isn't the weather in Brevard County. The bigger concern is that booster recovery weather, because the storm system that moved through yesterday is now an oceanic storm system and thus is impacting seas. Right? Does that make sense? So let's look at, of course, I typed the wrong word. Let's look at the wider perspective and watch that storm system exiting stage right there. You can see it. Nasty storm system as it's moving away. One point of note, that storm system yesterday plays into our hurricane season forecast. What? Yep, it does. Which we are working on as we speak. Kelly says that extra 5% is great. Weather forecasting isn't to the point where we could be here's the thing about that, okay? And I'm sure that they're looking at it from a strictly clinical eye. From this percentage to this percentage, you have to have this. From this percentage to this. But for me, the communication side, it just sounds weird. Because half of their job is to make a forecast. Perfect. My job is to communicate said forecast. And if I'm it's a 35% chance of good weather, you'd be like, why not just say 40 or 30? It just doesn't communicate as well. I'm a putz, and I know this. And it is what it is. Brian's asking, was I able to get a hold of Dave Marsh to see if he'd be willing to do Coffee Talk drive-thru? I've not heard back from him. So either he doesn't check the one email that I got for him, or he has no desire to do it. I don't know. Shauna, how's Sunday looking like? I'm planning a big Super Bowl party and need to use the smoker and the grill. You're doing both? Bro. Address and time will be there. All right, so let's take a look and see. All right, 7-day forecast revealing rain late this week, clearing out for the weekend. Super Bowl, great. No, not forgetting about Kyle. Kyle is absolutely this week's guest. He would have been last week's, but I got sick. Yep. But so plans for the big game here in Central Florida. I see sunshine. I see cool temperatures. Yeah. Wow. That's looking lovely. Now, what about those temperatures, right? Let's just take a first glance. Sunday morning, first glance, okay? Temperatures starting off nice and cool. 30s and 40s, depending on exactly where you are. Afternoon highs. 60s to 70. That's your Super Bowl. Which we're allowed to say because we're using it in an editorial sense. We're not trying to make money off of it commercially, et cetera, et cetera. So just for anybody that wants to be all nerdy about it. Yeah. Welcome back, Rita. Good morning. Shauna, good morning, of course. How is Crystal River this weekend? Hubby taking me boating on Crystal River. So I would say Saturday has a few lingering showers as that next storm system moves in, but Saturday through the day it'll clear out and it looks better Saturday afternoon into Sunday. So for what it's worth, maybe a couple of morning showers, but we'll continue to fine tune the timing of that. So yeah, we're looking good. Rosemary, you said Arctic blast coming? Well, we need to time this all out, but if you look, nope. I don't need the ocean forecast system. If you look, this is the GFS. I mean, you've got a nice little drop here. Got a nice little drop there. This upcoming weekend, it may not be, it may not be 20s and 30s, but it's chilly enough. And we'll have to fine tune the model data, certainly. No big game hype for me. Look, the Bucks aren't playing, so it is what it is. There's so much pollen floating in the water in our canal. It's an allergy nightmare. I'm feeling every bit of that allergy nightmare. I am on the struggle bus. Yeah. Rosebud, what is the need for weather balloons? That's actually a great question. What is the need for weather balloons? So this whole spy balloon thing brought up the idea of weather balloons. And for those of you that don't know, we do actually use weather balloons. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that what went up was a weather balloon versus not. But I'm going to show you what a weather balloon gives data for, okay? It's an atmospheric sounding, all right? So this is kind of a look at the data that comes off of, and I just went to like the National Weather Service's website, and it kind of plotted all this stuff out. But this is an atmospheric sounding. That is what comes off of a weather balloon that we launch. You get parameters, whether it's lifted index, precipitable water, shear, helicity, the Showalter index. There's a million parameters. On the right-hand side, it shows you the wind speed and direction with height. Okay? It gives you temperature. It gives you dew point. It gives you the dry adiabatic lapse rate, the wet adiabatic lapse rate. Mixing. We use this a lot in Florida to identify severe weather parameters. A lot of folks will use this stuff up north to try and find where the freezing level is, to determine if it's going to rain or snow. All right. Charles, looks very similar to what we get off the Hurricane Hunters. Oh, absolutely. Well, think about it. Instead of shooting a weather balloon up in the middle of a hurricane, they're just dropping a dropson down. So instead of getting the data going up, you're getting the data going down. But it's the exact same idea. It's a sounding. Yeah. It's just, it's kind of the opposite. Just turn it upside down. But it's the exact same type of data. Yeah, it's the exact same type of data. But this is what a weather balloon will get you. We launch weather balloons typically twice a day. And usually, National Weather Service offices are responsible for doing that. But interestingly enough, because we've got the Kennedy Space Center and the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, it's XMR, or the Cape, that launches the weather balloons, not National Weather Service office in Melbourne. And we actually oftentimes get it on rocket launch days. You think that they only launch one up every 12 hours? No, on rocket launch days, they launch a ton of weather balloons. So we get a lot of data. Chris is asking, do our weather balloons ever travel across the oceans to Europe or Asia? No, because what ends up happening is as they get higher in the atmosphere, they end up popping. Yeah, they end up popping. Also, and I heard this on the news, but the data from all of this that you're seeing on a weather balloon is on a drop, not on a drop son, on a oh god, I can't think of the technical name right now. My head is pounding for whatever reason. Darn allergies. Think of it as it's like the size of a keyboard, roughly, and it just goes up. And so what happens is when it falls, it parachutes down. There's like a little tag that says "if found, return." It's very small. The balloon that was shot down had equipment the size of 3 buses. You know, you're talking about a small tube getting all this data. That's a weather balloon. Big balloon and a tube maybe twice or 3 times the size of like what you would use at a banking teller, okay? Like I said, it's like the size, think of it as like the size of a keyboard. This keyboard, by the way, dropped coffee all over it on Coffee Talk a couple of years ago and kept it for the kids to play after I dried it out, but it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, that's the size of the weather balloon data equipment. Why can I not think of what it's called? I'm embarrassed, but I'm just going to be honest with you. It's early. I haven't had enough coffee yet, apparently. All right, so if what China sent out was a weather balloon, that's a hell of a weather balloon. 3 buses worth? You think that we launched 3 buses worth out across the entire country twice a day? No. No. And that's asking who releases the weather balloons. Like, do y'all at WESH release them as well? No, we do not. We do not. The National Weather Service does. So that's kind of an explainer of it. Here, let me show you. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on a second. All right, so here's the atmospheric soundings page. So there's all of the locations that launch soundings, at least in the United States, like National Weather Service situation in the world, okay? So XMR, so that's the Cape, Tampa, Miami, Key West, Jacksonville, Charleston, right? Birmingham, Lake Charles. So you can kind of see we do a pretty good amount. You know, if we click XMR, for example, a Stuvie diagram. Good God. Ugh, God. That brought back a nightmare. All right, so like here, for example, it's loading up. I think I pulled up a couple of them accidentally. All right, so actually this is 0Z on February the 6th. So this, we haven't gotten the morning one, so this is the most recent one from XMR, okay? So yeah, so this is the most recent sounding from XMR. Goalposts. You get those goalposts a little lower during a severe weather event. You got yourself the scenario for severe weather, friends. Woo! Right? But just in looking at this, we can look at things like precipitable water, thickness. Right? You can look at all the Cape value, like no instability. Yeah, we're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. So you get all kinds of parameters here. All right. And it also gives you an idea of the height. So 500 millibars is 5,800 meters. So you realize how high the pressure is, how low the pressure is. I mean, if you look at this, the atmosphere is super dry, right? As soon as you get up, the atmosphere is nice and dry. Yeah. So, you just kind of find, and you can use this to find, like, if there's a jet streak over top of you, you can look and find that. Like, you could see winds really pick up here at kind of north. So it's if you look, winds at the surface are northwest. We've got a little bit of a twist here, but generally kind of upstairs it's more of a southwest, and then it gets to more of a zonal flow as you get into the 100 millibar range. Anyway, this is all just nerdy stuff that weather balloons give us data for. And during severe weather events, big winter type events, we will put more than 2 up a day. They're not cheap, right? They're not cheap, but yeah. One thing about weather balloons too that are interesting is as they get higher in the atmosphere, they get bigger because there's a parcel of air inside of it, but as the air gets thinner, that parcel of air takes more and more space, and that's how they eventually pop. Yeah. So there's a lot of physics that get into it that we could get into and just be super nerdy. Super, super nerdy. And that's okay. Hodograph. Oof. Oof. K Cannon, I remember when you spilled that coffee on your keyboard. And I kept it because it's now the kids' keyboard. Yeah. Yeah. Joanna says, don't think it was a weather balloon, just saying. Nah, I mean, I don't either. So anyway, that's that. Kind of an interesting, interesting discussion. Interesting discussion this morning because, it's one of those things. I entered this, didn't even think that y'all would be interested in talking about it, but yeah. I've got video of a weather balloon. Geez, gotta find this. So, let's see if I can find this video. We were over at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, covering one of the GOES rocket launches. Here it is. Okay, so weather balloon. So we were covering the rocket launches. There's a weather balloon. There you go. That, of course, it's not wanting to focus it, but that gives you an idea of the size of a weather balloon, right? And here's kind of the balloon launch. Right? I think he was trying to get... This was all members of the media. I forget who these young ladies were with, but you can see there's not the size of a school bus or the size of 3 buses, right? And what's interesting is that little piece of equipment on the bottom, that just parachutes back down, and if people can recover it, then they can return it to the Weather Service and we can reuse it. But that balloon will go all the way up through the atmosphere, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger because the surrounding air is thinner and thinner, all right? But yeah, that's the size of a weather balloon. There goes. And it'll just go and go and go and go and go. Yeah. No 3 buses on that bad boy, I'll tell you that much. How do you keep the stuff inside the weather balloon from hitting somebody when it pops? Well, I mean, it pops at, 150,000 feet or what have you. But the sonde itself has a parachute, so it'll parachute down. Yeah. Question, Brian asks, I always hear you talk about 12Z, 0Z, 18Z, etc. In layman's terms, what does that mean, and exactly what does the Z stand for? Good question. So Z, Zulu time, also known as Greenwich Mean Time, also known as UTC, or Universal Time Coordination. Essentially, Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. It's so that people around the world can be on the exact same idea. So, for example, pilots use it. I mean, in my world, pilots use it. Meteorologists use it. Like, I started in weather before I started flying airplanes. So when I flew airplanes, it's like, Z time is easy. I already use that. My watch already has Z time on the screen. I always have, always have. Thank you, George. Thank you. So that way, everybody knows exactly what time, like computer models come out, etc. It's like the models come out 0Z, 12Z. Some come out on every 6 hours. But yeah, so and then in the it's like the model's raw output. If we look at the model, I'll just pull up like the GFS here. So look in the top right corner, okay? Valid 9Z on Monday, February 6th. Well, I could tell you 9Z, I know, is 4 a.m. today, right? And this is the initialized 6Z. So this is the 6Z version of the GFS, which through now, is the most recent run of the GFS. But you get the idea. So it's just so that everybody, because these are worldwide graphics, things like that. These are worldwide products. So the idea is that everybody's on the same page with them, which is, yeah. Could it go into the ocean? Sure, Amy, it could, yeah. But it parachutes down, yeah. Jeannie says, parachutes back. I feel my odds of not being hit have gone up. Correct. Well, nobody wants to get hit by this. We don't want anybody to get hit by this. Yeah. So that's why they use parachutes. 0Z, Debbie. So 0Z, think of it as midnight. 0Z is midnight. Which, in terms of Eastern time, it's either 7 p.m. Eastern time or 8 p.m. Eastern time, depending on if we spring forward or fall behind, that sort of thing. Yeah, so it's interesting. At the end of the day, it's interesting. I don't know how they are and what? So yeah, so a lot of times you'll see, for example, the model. Like here's a great example. Let me pop the model back up. So, for example, let me just fast forward. So that says valid 0Z Tuesday, February the 7th. That's not technically Tuesday on Eastern time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time. But it's midnight Zulu time. I know this gets super nerdy. Yeah. UTC Coordinated Universal Time in English and Temps Universal Coordinate in French. The abbreviation was a compromise. There you go. Oh, geez, Taylor, I'm sorry. I feel every bit of what you're saying. I feel it. So anyway, that's Nerd 101. Boy, Coffee Talk, you just never know where this is going to go. I love it. Oh, man. All right, so any other questions? 0Z, 12Z, Nerdy. We're all together with it. Love getting nerdy too, Debbie. I do too. All right, any other questions? Ken Schuba, good morning. Karen says super nerd indeed. That's okay. All right, great stretch of weather for us today, tomorrow, Wednesday. A couple of showers building in Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday getting cool again. Yeah, love it. Love it. We derailed the train in a positive direction today. I agree, Taylor. Learning about pulling up skew-T diagrams, talking about weather balloons. I would have never thought about doing that, but kind of fun. Yeah. Z for zero offset. Zulu is the phonetic alphabet for... Yep. This is all correct. I love it. All right, people. So that's it. Great stretch of weather today. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the view, right? All right, when we chat again at 3:30 for the afternoon coffee talk, let's do this. Let's chat about how we're doing, the trends looking into the weekend. Yeah, should be nice, really nice stretch of weather. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you guys and gals this afternoon at 3:30. Bye.